What's going on, guys? Coach Factor here. And now that we've understood the correct grip of the golf club, now we've created a whole nother issue, which is now that we're gripping the club correct, how do we get the ball to go straight? Because if we're still playing with the same swing that we had with the correct grip, maybe that club's, if we don't know how to properly release, the ball's going to continue to go back to the right like it was before. That's why we made this crazy adjustment with our grip. So how do we correctly swing the club now that our grip is fixed? Well, it's a multi-step process. I'm not going to talk about the setup just yet. I want to go through this just a little bit quicker, a little bit more basic, more of a quick fix type of situation. So I'm going to show you down the line. The first thing we need to understand is how to take the club back properly. And I see any number of ways this is done. And this is not the most important fundamental of the golf swing, but it's going to make our lives a lot easier if we can get the club in a good position at the top. So the best drill that I've seen to get the backswing in the right spot, to give us that feel, is the good old-fashioned Rory McIlroy drill. We get a split grip on the golf club, and we extend and rotate back. And then we slide our right hand down the grip. Now you can see here, I'm in a good position. The club shaft is right about on my shoulder where it should be. It's not too steep. It's not too wrapped around me. It's right in this position. And if my grip is correct, my club face up here should be pretty square. We shouldn't see the club face hanging down in an open position, and we shouldn't see all the grooves in a closed position either. Now, have there been plenty of good golfers, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, that have been able to play with this closed club face in a bowed position with the wrist? Sure. Now, it's going to be a little more of an adjustment at the bottom to square it from that position, but we can get away with that. What we don't want is this open club face, because that's going to be a nightmare to try to get it back to the top. We're going to have to come over. It's a very difficult position. So again, we get this Rory McIlroy drill, we rotate to the top, slide the hand down, and now our club should be about in the right position. You can see just a little bit of my club face there at the top. Now from this position, going back down, what we want to avoid is these hands getting overactive. We don't want to pull out over the top. We want to start our downswing with our lower body, making a slight shift to the front. Now we don't want to move our upper body, just a slight movement with the lower body, shifting the weight slightly forward, getting our hips moving. Then we can take these hands and drop them into the slot, where we can then advance it to the release. The release is very simple. It's one of the most fun parts of the golf swing. It's where we get to add speed. So if these checkpoints that we had before, if we're in a good position at the top, if we make a good transition and get these hands dropping into position, it's relatively easy. All we're going to do is release. What does release mean if you look it up in the dictionary? Well, it means to let go. And that's essentially what we're doing. We're not trying to manipulate all this stuff with our hands. If we get the club into the proper position, all we really have to do is then release the club to the target. And we don't want it to be left. We don't want it to be right. Again, all we're doing is bringing the club head down and through the golf shot. And if we can get that down, you're in a really good position. And again, once we've mastered the first two, once we've got the backswing in the correct position, we've worked our transition to now we're in a good spot. Now we come to one of my favorite drills, which is the impact drill. And you could do this anywhere. You could do this at home with a net. You could do this at the driving range. And all we really need to do is get in our setup, take half a backswing, again, rehearsing this position that we talked about earlier, make our transition, our weight shift, and then work on the release. And all we're doing is letting these arms go and letting the club head turn over. And we should see maybe just a slight right to left move on that. And that's the easiest thing in the world to practice. So again, if our grip is correct, we're getting in the correct positions, and we're releasing the club head properly, we should play a lot better golf.